We've heard a lot about people swallowing their Airpods lately. There was one lady, she gets up in the morning, she probably goes, grabs a cup of coffee, going to take her medicine or vitamins, and instead she swallowed her Airpods.
She was distracted and swallowed that.
But it doesn't feel like a vitamin once it hits your tongue.
Well, hey, if it's in your hand, you're distracted, you're looking at your phone, you're scrolling, you pop the pill, you swallow, boom. And it was, here's the thing, I saw this one, and I saw a picture of her husband holding up the Find My Device up to her stomach, and it was showing it right there.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Dude, you haven't lost it. It's right here in your wife's tummy.
You know how you can make that little sound?
Yes, the ping. I wonder if her
You
belly
ping it?
kind of vibrated a little bit. Ding.
Right.
Okay, so then another woman, another lady, she's asleep. She had her AirPods in. I do not sleep with AirPods. I can't do that. I have to have no sound. She sleeps with it, and somehow in the middle of the night, she swallowed one.
Whoops.
So in the middle of the night, was she thinking she was eating popcorn? Like, what was happening?
Who knows?
To make her, and to be able to swallow. I couldn't swallow a pill in my sleep if I tried. I could not.
I can see that happening.
So
that's easy enough. First lady said that she was going to, let nature take its course and find it later. But what about this other lady?
She goes to the hospital.
Really?
Yeah. They had to go in and retrieve the AirPod.
Wow.
They had to go in and get it. Yeah, I probably would have tried nature first. Probably.
Right?
Yeah. Rather than spend all that money. And then probably would have gotten a new pair.
Yeah.
You're listening to Rob and Lizz in the morning.
His radio.
It's Rob and Lizz in the morning. His radio.
I got a little scared.
What in the world? Okay then.
My AirPod was going off.
It wasn't like I swallowed one.
No.
That's crazy. It's Rob and Lizz in the morning. To hear about these two ladies at different times literally swallow their AirPods by mistake.
Yeah, one was taking her vitamins. She's like, okay, there's vitamin C, B12, AirPod. Okay.
And swallowed it. Yeah. She got distracted. I mean, she had like a pill in one hand, an AirPod in the other one. She took it out and was doing something. And then when she went to pop her vitamin, she popped the AirPod instead.
I have such a hard time swallowing pills anyway.
Right?
How do you get an AirPod down?
You can. It's easy enough.
I guess.
It's easy enough. I have had pills that are bigger than that. So Kaylee is here, and I don't think this was swallowing. It was something about the nose. What happened, Kaylee?
When I was a little girl, I was probably around 3 or 4, and my mom did the thing moms will say sometimes. I wasn't wanting to eat my chicken for dinner, and she said, well, if you don't eat your chicken, I'm going to make you eat it through your nose, which is something you shouldn't really tell a child, but I was very precocious at that age. And so she said, I ate my chicken, and a couple of days went by, and she started noticing this smell coming from me. And so she's washing me. So she just could not figure this out. There's an odor coming from this beautiful little girl with her hair curled and bathed 20 times, however many times she's washing me, scrubbing me, looking everywhere. Couldn't figure it out. Took me to the doctor, and he starts poking around, looking in my ears, and he looks up my nose, and he pulls out both sides of my nose 2 pieces of chicken.
No way. How long was that in your nose?
Probably a couple of days.
You're listening to Rob and Lizz in the morning.
His radio.
Get your refunds. Get your refunds here. It's Rob and Lizz in the morning. We are His Radio. There's excitement.
There is so much excitement in my house personally because I can't tell you how many times I'd be downstairs and I would hear, Mama, can I get a skin? Sure. Explain to me what that is. It was part of Fortnite. Fortnite, if the kids were buying some things within the app, with or without your knowledge, you could get some of that refund.
Isn't that wild?
It's crazy.
So there's something going on, and you can Google it, and you can find out, but there's some money being owed to some parents because of this.
Yeah, and there's like a $520 million payout that's happening. Now you have to, I think you have to sign up to get part of it.
It just doesn't automatically come to you, sorry.
But let's not think that when we get these refunds, that they're going to be enough to where you could go buy a car or maybe even a cup of coffee.
$1.50.
$520 million, I think, is what it is. And there's somewhere in the neighborhood of 300 and some odd million people that could be due refunds.
Really?
So doing the math, it ain't looking good.
$1.50.
Rob and Lizz.
His morning crew.
First, the guy's name is super cool. His name is Thor.
What?
Thor.
Oh, it's that guy in that movie.
Thor. This is a real dude. His name is Thor. He's from Denmark, and he had a mission. And the mission was in 4 years to visit all the countries on the planet. 200, I think it was 203.
Oh, my goodness.
All together. 4 years. He fell short. He had to do it in just under a decade.
Okay, well.
All unbroken, meaning that he just started and never stopped, just kept going and never stepped foot on a plane to do it.
Boats. Okay,
yes,
boats.
there you go.
Okay.
I was thinking the same thing. I'm thinking, how did he drive? I was thinking he drove a car.
Yeah, exactly.
Or he walked, or he did something. No, he did hop on a boat. So
Okay.
he did take oceans to
Wow.
get to some of these places, but 203 countries. His whole inspiration, which is pretty cool, Robinson Crusoe and Indiana Jones.
I can see that.
He even has a fedora to prove it.
Okay, so all the questions are happening right now. How did you fund something like this, dear Thor?
That's a great question.
Like, did he get maybe he's just independently wealthy, which is nice.
It could be, because I don't see him, at least I didn't read this anywhere, that he was raising awareness for anything. He might have been, because that would be my first thought.
Sure.
He's raising support for something, but he had a goal and he did it. They said that he traveled the distance to the moon, which is 384,000 miles.
I can see that. I mean, if you're going to each and every country, and it's not like the crow flies. I mean, you have to take a certain path to get to certain places. So, wow.
And how he did it, it was like going around Earth 9.5 times to visit
Oh.
all those countries.
So he didn't. I guess I would have started like in a line, but I don't know.
But
Like,
every country, you're talking both hemispheres, the
Well,
northern
yeah.
and southern hemisphere.
right. So maybe start like in North America, hit the countries, and then move one way or the other. You know, whether you're going.
Do you go south?
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Do you hit the boat and then go off to Africa or go off to Australia, New Zealand? I mean, what do you do?
I wouldn't go north to south. I would go east, to west. Yeah, that's the way I would go for sure.
Of course you do.
Rob and Lizz.
His morning crew.
It's Rob and Lizz in the morning, his radio. So Myrtle Beach, Friday morning. Even though there was a threat of Ophelia at one point during the week, it's like, for some reason, we feel like, even though it's going to be windy and there was the threat of weather, that we were still supposed to be at the Bojangles parking lot on North Kings Highway in North Myrtle Beach. And then when we got there, we're like, oh, this is so good. It's windy, but the sun's out.
No rain.
It's cool temperatures. I mean, the humidity was not in the air. It felt like fall in Myrtle Beach.
Yeah.
It was so good. And then we realized, oh, this is the reason why we are here. And we ran into this gentleman, and I want you to hear his story. His name is James.
My granddaughter Ava has been through several surgeries, and back in February, it's kind of emotional, sorry, my wife and I were in the truck listening to his radio, and our daughter-in-law said, we called her, said, when's she coming home? She said, she's supposed to come home Saturday morning, and she's full of anxiety and stress, and they don't think she's going to be able to come home. Well, we started praying, and immediately on his radio, God turned it around, came on. Then Katie Nicole, in Jesus' name, came on. And we prayed, and we praised, and in less than 30 minutes, she was on her way home.
Amazing.
So the power of music and prayer and praise.
How'd that make you feel?
Unbelievable. I just had to come down and tell you that story.
Isn't that amazing? He came in to our His Radio mobile unit to tell us the story specifically, and I firmly believe that's because of people like you who support His Radio.
Right. And the backstory to that, Ava has been through so much in her young life. She's had, I think it's 8 or 9 surgeries. She got an infection that got, I believe, into her bloodstream and has had to have those surgeries. And that's where the anxiety was coming from. And we were able to pray with James just right there in that parking lot and pray for his family and for little Ava.
I think about next week, which is Share-a-thon at His Radio. We're listener supported. Maybe you didn't know that. And it's gifts from people like you that make that a reality. Listen, I know it's been tough. In our family, we're a one-income family. We've been stretching the dollars just like you. I mean, it's just like, oh, my word. What are we going to do next week? But here's what I'm thinking. Your gift matters. It does. And maybe maybe you can think like this with your giving to His Radio, because we need a running start for Share-a-thon next week. Because I want to ask you to give today. But don't let what you can't do keep you from what you can do with your gift today. A running start gift, we'll call it a jump start gift. So do what you can right now. Just say, this is what I can do. So don't let what you can't keep you from what you can do with your gift of support. Here is the number to text the word give. The word is give, 800-447-7234. The word's give. Text that right now, 800-447-7234. You can go to hisradio.com, and when you listen through the app, you can give through the My His Radio app.
Rob and Lizz.
His morning crew.
JP was serving in Afghanistan, and unfortunately, while he was serving, he had some devastating injuries. He ended up losing both of his legs. He lost a finger. And during the time where he was recovering, he had some other things going on personally. His wife left him during that period of time, and so he just fell into this spiral. He was depressed. He was anxious. He had all these things. 12 different times, JP thought, I don't want to be here tomorrow, and took some steps to make that happen, that he was not going to be here tomorrow. The 12th time, he was brought to his knees, and he decided, I need help. Finally, after that 12th time, he relented and gave control over to God of his life. He'd been raised in church. He knew Christ, but he came back to his faith after this 12th time, and things have changed. God changes lives. And he changed JP's.
That's so good. Sounds like he led him to the right people that can help him navigate through that whole process.
Right. He in that moment, he says he realized he needed something bigger than himself, and that was God. And so put all of his faith in God, brought him through. He ended up meeting and marrying the love of his life.
So good.
He's working to help other veterans who have PTSD, who have, lost limbs in combat, this kind of thing, and totally changed his life.
I hope you know that God can do the same for you in your life. And if you ever need prayer, don't walk through it alone. Our prayer line is always open at His Radio. Here's the number. It's 866-987-7729.
Rob and Lizz.
His morning crew.
Kirk Franklin, he's done music forever, it seems like. Such a great guy. Well, one thing that you may not know is that he has not seen his dad, his biological father, for 53 years. So he went on this quest, found the guy.
Wow.
And just reunited with his biological father. He said there were some unexpected twists that were in this whole thing. And his son, Kirk Franklin's son, Carry-On, he hadn't had a relationship with him for a decade, and they just reestablished a relationship. So this is all now a documentary. The cameras were there, and so there's this 35-minute documentary that's going to come out next week. As a matter of fact, like Thursday, I think. It's called Father's Day, A Kirk Franklin Story. So you'll be able to see this journey unfold before your eyes, and then see the conversation that he and his dad and he and his son have had.
Wow, I can't wait, honestly, to hear this conversation of the whys, getting the questions answered, but also just how emotional that is going to be. And there's going to be emotions all over the place. I'm sure there's probably going to be some hurt and maybe some anger. Hopefully they can work through that.
I don't know how I would handle that, because I've been an orphan since I was a teenager. I mean, literally kicked out of the house. I have no parents or anything. I mean, they exist, but they're not in my life and haven't been since I was 16. So I want to watch this just to see how their conversations go, because if that is ever granted in my life, to be reunited with my mom that I'm estranged from, that I wouldn't know what to say or do.
I think,
seriously,
honestly, watching something like this would be, cathartic. First of all, let you work through maybe some of that stuff,
I don't know.
of having that conversation, and hopefully it is a good outcome that we're going to see in this documentary, and there's some hope there.
It seems like there is, because they got the cameras up and rolling. So we'll see that coming up next week.
Rob and Lizz.
His morning crew.
Jamie's along with us at 800-447-7234. She heard that prayer need of a woman we don't know. She didn't leave her details, but she and her 8-year-old son are going through some things. They're homeless. They're in the shelter. The 8-year-old is going through some trauma because of the past, and they requested some prayer, or somebody did, on their behalf. And what about this resonated with you, Jamie?
I'm a single mom with 3 teenage sons, and we were homeless last year as well. Yes, it's traumatizing. Yes, it's hard, but it ain't nothing compared to what Jesus went through. And if we can rest in him and trust him, I can assure her he will provide.
I'm not your dad, but I'm so proud of you for working through what you've done. That is just so amazing to me.
Oh, well, thank you. I don't have a dad that offers encouragement, so thank you. I mean, I have my Father in heaven, but thank you.
Well, we're very proud of you.
Oh, my alarm's going off.
Thank you so much for sharing that story. I know that's going to be an encouragement, not only to her, but to others that are going through something similar.
Let's get you all ready for work, because that alarm's going off.
All right, thank you so much.